This program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
Some military facilities are already being dismantled. Our hostages have been released, and as promised, the remains of our fallen heroes are being returned home to lay at rest in American soil. I would like to thank Chairman Kim for his courage and for the steps he has taken, though much work remains to be done. The sanctions will stay in place until denuclearization occurs. I also want to thank the many member states who helped us reach this moment, a moment that is actually far greater than people would understand, far greater. But for also their support and the critical support that we will all need going forward. Special thanks to President Moon of South Korea, Prime Minister Abe of Japan, and President Xi of China. In the Middle East, our new approach is also yielding great strides and very historic change. Following my trip to Saudi Arabia last year, the Gulf countries opened a new center to target terrorist financing. They are enforcing new sanctions, working with us to identify and track terrorist networks, and taking more responsibility for fighting terrorism and extremism in their own region. The UAE, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar have pledged billions of dollars to aid the people of Syria and Yemen, and they are pursuing multiple avenues to ending Yemen's horrible, horrific civil war. Ultimately, it is up to the nations of the region to decide what kind of future they want for themselves and their children. For that reason, the United States is working with the Gulf Cooperation Council, Jordan, and Egypt to establish a regional strategic alliance so that Middle Eastern nations can advance prosperity, stability, and security across their home region. Thanks to the United States military and our partnership with many of your nations, I am pleased to report that the bloodthirsty killers known as ISIS have been driven out from the territory they once held in Iraq and Syria. We will continue to work with friends and allies to deny radical Islamic terrorists any funding, territory, or support, or any means of infiltrating our borders. The ongoing tragedy in Syria is heartbreaking. Our shared goals must be the de-escalation of military conflict, along with a political solution that honors the will of the Syrian people. In this vein, we urge the United Nations-led peace process to be reinvigorated. But rest assured, the United States will respond if chemical weapons are deployed by the Assad regime. I commend the people of Jordan and other neighboring countries for hosting refugees from this very brutal civil war. As we see in Jordan, the most compassionate policy is to place refugees as close to their homes as possible, to ease their eventual return to be part of the rebuilding process. This approach also stretches finite resources to help far more people, increasing the impact of every dollar spent. Every solution to the humanitarian crisis in Syria must also include a strategy to address the brutal regime that has fueled and financed it. The corrupt dictatorship in Iran. Iran's leaders sow chaos, death, and destruction. They do not respect their neighbors or borders or the sovereign rights of nations. Instead, Iran's leaders plunder the nation's resources to enrich themselves and to spread mayhem across the Middle East and far beyond. The Iranian people are rightly outraged that their leaders have embezzled billions of dollars from Iran's treasury, seized valuable portions of it, and looted the people's religious endowments, all to line their own pockets and send their proxies to wage war. Not good. Iran's neighbors have paid a heavy toll for the region's agenda of aggression and expansion. That is why so many countries in the Middle East strongly supported my decision to withdraw the United States from the horrible 2015 Iran nuclear deal and reimpose nuclear sanctions. The Iran deal was a windfall for Iran's leaders. In the years since the deal was reached, Iran's military budget grew nearly 40%. The dictatorship used the funds to build nuclear-capable missiles, increase internal repression, finance terrorism, and fund havoc and slaughter in Syria and Yemen. The United States has launched a campaign of economic pressure to deny the regime the funds it needs to advance its bloody agenda. Last month, we began reimposing hard-hitting nuclear sanctions that have been lifted under the Iran deal. Additional sanctions will resume November 5th, and more will follow. And we are working with countries that import Iranian crude oil to cut their purchases substantially. We cannot allow the world's leading sponsor of terrorism to possess the planet's most dangerous weapons. We cannot allow a regime that chants death to America and that threatens Israel with annihilation to possess the means to deliver a nuclear warhead to any city on earth. Just can't do it. We ask all nations to isolate Iran's regime as long as its aggression continues. And we ask all nations to support Iran's people as they struggle to reclaim their religious and righteous destiny. This year, we also took another significant step forward in the Middle East in recognition of every sovereign state to determine its own capital. I moved the U.S. Embassy in Israel to Jerusalem. The United States is committed to a future of peace and stability in the region, including peace between the Israelis and the Palestinians. That aim is advanced, not harmed, by acknowledging the obvious facts. America's policy of principled realism means we will not be held hostage to old dogmas, discredited ideologies, and so-called experts who have been proven wrong over the years, time and time again. This is true not only in matters of peace, but in matters of prosperity. We believe that trade must be fair and reciprocal.
Ang batang matibay, may tibay matuto sa buhay. Natututo ng tibay ng loob.
Pag matibay kasi ang pangarap mo, titibay din ang loob mo.
Natututo ng tibay ng paniniwala.
Kulang man sa material na bagay, mayaman naman sa tibay.
Natututo ng tibay para di sumuko.
Lagi raw mananalo, basta lumaban ng may puso.
Kasama ang Bear Brand. Ang anak mo ay may tibay matuto sa buhay. Siya'y isang batang matibay. Tibay ngayon, tulong para sa matibay na bukas. From Nestle.
Minsan talo ko sa ibang choices. Buti pa sa Jollibee Mix and Match combos. Lahat panalo. Choose your own sulit sarap combo. Kahit ano pang piliin mo, masarap. Jollibee Mix and Match combos. 75 lang.
Hey, McDonald's is here. What is happening? Tastes so good. It'll make you dance. Chicken's got to be McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Uy, pakbet!
Excited sa gulay? Kagagawa niya ng magic. Mas pinasarap ng Maggi Magic Sarap. All-in-one na, may iron pa. Bago yun na, kaya ang lutuin mas sumasarap. Bagong Maggi Magic Sarap.
The United States will not be taken advantage of any longer. For decades, the United States opened its economy, the largest by far on earth, with few conditions. We allowed foreign goods from all over the world to flow freely across our borders. Yet, other countries did not grant us fair and reciprocal access to their markets in return. Even worse, some countries abused their openness to dump their products, subsidize their goods, target our industries, and manipulate their currencies to gain unfair advantage over our country. As a result, our trade deficit ballooned to nearly $800 billion a year. For this reason, we are systematically renegotiating broken and bad trade deals. Last month, we announced a groundbreaking U.S.-Mexico trade agreement. And just yesterday, I stood with President Moon to announce the successful completion of the brand new U.S.-Korea trade deal. And this is just the beginning. Many nations in this hall will agree that the world trading system is in dire need of change. For example, countries were admitted to the World Trade Organization that violate every single principle on which the organization is based. While the United States and many other nations play by the rules, these countries use government-run industrial planning and state-owned enterprises to rig the system in their favor. They engage in relentless product dumping, forced technology transfer, and the theft of intellectual property. The United States lost over 3 million manufacturing jobs, nearly a quarter of all steel jobs, and 60,000 factories after China joined the WTO. And we have racked up $13 trillion in trade deficits over the last 2 decades. But those days are over. We will no longer tolerate such abuse. We will not allow our workers to be victimized, our companies to be cheated, and our wealth to be plundered and transferred. America will never apologize for protecting its citizens. The United States has just announced tariffs on another $200 billion in Chinese-made goods, with a total so far of $250 billion. I have great respect and affection for my friend, President Xi, but I have made clear our trade imbalance is just not acceptable. China's market distortions and the way they deal cannot be tolerated. As my administration has demonstrated, America will always act in our national interest. I spoke before this body last year and warned that the UN Human Rights Council had become a grave embarrassment to this institution, shielding egregious human rights abuses while bashing America and its many friends. Our ambassador to the United Nations, Nikki Haley, laid out a clear agenda for reform, but despite reported and repeated warnings, no action at all was taken. So the United States took the only responsible course. We withdrew from the Human Rights Council, and we will not return until real reform is enacted. For similar reasons, the United States will provide no support and recognition to the International Criminal Court. As far as America is concerned, the ICC has no jurisdiction, no legitimacy, and no authority. The ICC claims near universal jurisdiction over the citizens of every country, violating all principles of justice, fairness, and due process. We will never surrender America's sovereignty to an unelected, unaccountable global bureaucracy. America is governed by Americans. We reject the ideology of globalism, and we embrace the doctrine of patriotism. Around the world, responsible nations must defend against threats to sovereignty, not just from global governments, but also from other new forms of coercion and domination. In America, we believe strongly in energy security for ourselves and for our allies. We have become the largest energy producer anywhere on the face of the earth. The United States stands ready to export our abundant, affordable supply of oil, clean coal, and natural gas. OPEC and OPEC nations are, as usual, ripping off the rest of the world. And I don't like it. Nobody should like it. We defend many of these nations for nothing, and then they take advantage of us by giving us high oil prices. Not good. We want them to stop raising prices. We want them to start lowering prices. And they must contribute substantially to military protection from now on. We are not going to put up with it, these horrible prices, much longer. Reliance on a single foreign supplier can leave a nation vulnerable to extortion and intimidation. That is why we congratulate European states such as Poland for leading the construction of a Baltic pipeline so that nations are not dependent on Russia to meet their energy needs. Germany will become totally dependent on Russian energy if it does not immediately change course. Here in the Western Hemisphere, we are committed to maintaining our independence from
Ang batang matibay, may tibay matuto sa buhay. Natututo ng tibay ng loob.
Pag matibay kasi ang pangarap mo, titibay din ang loob mo.
Natututo ng tibay ng paniniwala.
Kulang man sa material na bagay, mayaman naman sa tibay.
Natututo ng tibay para di sumuko.
Lagi raw mananalo, basta lumaban ng may puso.
Kasama ang Bear Brand. Ang anak mo ay may tibay matuto sa buhay. Siya'y isang batang matibay. Tibay ngayon, tulong para sa matibay na bukas. From Nestle.
Minsan, talo ko sa ibang choices. Buti pa sa Jollibee Mix and Match combos. Lahat panalo. Choose your own sulit sarap combo. Kahit ano pang piliin mo, masarap. Jollibee Mix and Match combos. 75 lang.
Hey, McDonald's is here. What is happening? Tastes so good. It'll make you dance. Chicken's got to be McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Uy, pakdet!
Excited sa gulay? Kagagawan yan ng magic. Mas pinasarap ng Maggi Magic Sarap. All-in-one na, may iron pa. Bago yun na, kaya ang lutuin mas sumasarap. Bagong Maggi Magic Sarap.
From the encroachment of expansion.
Protocol to escort
the Secretary General and my fellow leaders. About a week ago, I stood on the other side of the world, in Vietnam, in soil once bloody with war. And I met a small group of veterans, Americans and Vietnamese, and I watched the exchange of personal artifacts from that war, identification cards and a diary. It was deeply moving to see the reaction of the Vietnamese and American soldiers. Culmination of 50 years of hard work on both sides to address the painful legacies of war and choose to work together toward peace and a better future. Nothing about that journey was inevitable. For decades, it was unthinkable for an American president to stand in Hanoi alongside the Vietnamese leader and announce a mutual commitment to the highest level of country's partnership. Well, it's a powerful reminder that our history need not dictate our future. concerted leadership, careful effort, adversaries can become partners. Overwhelming challenges can be resolved, and deep wounds can heal. So let us never forget that. When we choose to stand together and recognize common hopes and bind all humanity, we hold our hands high in our powers to bend that arc of history. My fellow leaders, we gather once more at an inflection point in world history. The police harassing with the eyes of the world upon all of you, all of us. As President of the United States, I understand the duty my country has to lead in this critical moment. To work with countries in every region, linking them in common cause. Join together with partners to share a common vision of the future of the world, where our children do not go hungry and everyone has access to quality health care. Where workers are empowered and our environment is protected. Entrepreneurs and innovators everywhere can access opportunities everywhere. Where conflicts are resolved peacefully, countries can chart their own course. The United States seeks a more secure, more prosperous, more equitable world for all people, because we know our future is bound to yours. Let me repeat that again. We know our future is bound to yours. And no nation can meet the challenges of today alone. The generations that preceded us organized this body, the United Nations, and built international financial institutions and multilateral and regional bodies to help take on the challenges of their time. It wasn't always perfect. But working together, the world made some remarkable and undeniable progress to improve the lives of all people. We avoided the renewal of global conflict while lifting more than 1 billion people out of extreme poverty. We together expanded access to education for millions of children. We saved tens of millions of lives that would have otherwise been lost to preventable and treatable diseases like measles, malaria, tuberculosis. HIV/AIDS infections and deaths plummeted, in no small part because of PEPFAR's work in more than 55 countries, saving more than 25 million lives. It's a profound testament to what we can achieve when we act together, when we take on tough challenges, and an admonition for all of us to urgently accelerate our progress, so that no one's left behind, because too many people are being left behind. The institutions we built together at the end of the Second World War are an enduring bedrock of our progress. And the United States is committed to sustaining them. And this year, we're proud to rejoin UNESCO. We also recognize that to meet the new challenges of our decades-old institutions and approaches, they must be updated to keep peace with the world. We have to bring in more leadership and capability that exists everywhere, especially from regions that had not always been fully included. We have to grapple with the challenges that are more connected and more complex. We have to make sure we're delivering for people everywhere, not just somewhere, everywhere. Simply put, the 21st century results are badly needed. We need it to move us along. That starts with the United Nations. It starts right here in this room. In my address to this body last year, I announced the United States will support expanding the Security Council, increasing the number of permanent and non-permanent members. The United States is undertaking serious consultations with many member states. We'll continue to do our part to push more reform efforts forward. Look for points of common ground.
Now for traffic and transit with
make
Richard
progress.
Burns.
That's right, man. I'm Richard Burns.
We need to be able to break the gridlock that too often stymies progress.
Ang batang matibay, may tibay matuto sa buhay. Natututo ng tibay ng loob.
Pag matibay kasi ang pangarap mo, titibay din ang loob mo.
Natututo ng tibay ng paniniwala.
Kulang man sa material na bagay, mayaman naman sa tibay.
Natututo ng tibay para di sumuko.
Lagi raw mananalo, basta lumaban ng may puso.
Kasama ang Bear Brand. Ang anak mo ay may tibay matuto sa buhay. Siya'y isang batang matibay. Tibay ngayon, tulong para sa matibay na bukas. From Nestle.
Minsan, talo ko sa ibang choices. Buti pa sa Jollibee Mix and Match combos. Lahat panalo. Choose your own sulit sarap combo. Kahit ano pang piliin mo, masarap. Jollibee Mix and Match combos. 75 lang.
Hey, McDonald's is here. What is happening? Tastes so good. It'll make you dance.
Chicken's got to be McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Uy, pakbet!
Excited sa gulay? Kagagawan yan ng magic. Mas pinasarap ng Maggi Magic Sarap. All-in-one na, may iron pa. Bago yun na, kaya ang lutuin mas sumasarap. Bagong Maggi Magic Sarap.
Blocks consensus on the council. We need more voices, more perspectives at the table. The United Nations must continue to preserve peace, prevent conflict, and alleviate human suffering. And we embrace nations stepping up to lead new ways and to seek new breakthroughs on hard issues. For example, on Haiti, the Caribbean community is facilitating a dialogue among Haitian society. I think President Ruto of Kenya, I thank him for his willingness to serve as the lead nation of a UN-backed security support mission. I call on the Security Council to authorize this mission now. The people of Haiti cannot wait much longer. The United States is working across the board to make global institutions more responsive, more effective, and more inclusive. For example, we've taken significant steps to reform and scale up the World Bank, expanding its financing to low and middle-income countries so it can help boost progress toward meeting the Sustainable Development Goals and better address interconnected challenges like climate change and fragility. Under the new president of the World Bank, change is already taking root. Last month, I asked the United States Congress for additional funds to expand World Bank financing by $25 billion. And the G20, we rallied the major economies of the world to mobilize even more funding. Collectively, we can deliver a transformational boost to World Bank lending. And because the multilateral development banks are among the best tools we have for mobilizing transparent, high-quality investment in developing countries, reforming these institutions can be a game changer. Similarly, we proposed making sure developing countries have a strong voice and representation at the International Monetary Fund. We're going to continue our efforts to reform the World Trade Organization, preserve competition, openness, transparency, and the rule of law, while at the same time equipping it to better tackle modern-day imperatives like driving the clean energy transition, protecting workers, promoting inclusive and sustainable growth. And this month, we strengthened the G20 as a vital forum, welcoming the African Union as a permanent member. By upgrading and strengthening our institutions, that's only half of the picture. We must also forge new partnerships, confront new challenges. Emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence hold both enormous potential and enormous peril. We need to be sure they are used as tools of opportunity, not as weapons of oppression. Together with leaders around the world, the United States is working to strengthen rules and policies so AI technologies are safe before they're released to the public.
But I'm sure it's a bit like the Bay of Pigs. That was nice.
There's a great new show this season of Weasel, where the law is the drama, and the drama is the law.
What the hell did you go to law school for? I haven't changed at all. I was always over-competitive and shallow. I have a disabled brother I pretend doesn't exist. I only married you because you've got great guns.
Law.
You go to hell!
Well, screw you too, Mom! See if you're ever on the show again. Next call.
Yeah, what's that plant that blooms every 12 years? It is so high and smells like hell. I want to plant one on my ex-wife's lawn.
It's called a morphophallus titanium. God, I love to say that. A morphophallus titanium. Sound of it gives me a redwood in my khakis. If I come back as a superhero, I want to be called that. It's a morphophallus titanium, the rare botanical wonder. See his 8-foot protrusion as he pollinates on everyone. Why does it seem so bad? You should try it. Pee on the front door of your office. See if anybody thinks they're coming near you.
Okay, I will try that. Thank you so much for the advice, Maurice.
Oh, I'm here to help, Sailor.
Gardening with Maurice, only on WCTR.
I love my husband more than anything.
Which is why I was surprised to find her sleeping with the teenager next door.
Now I take each day one day at a time. I didn't know what I had till it was almost gone. Now I'm faithful and haven't terminated a pregnancy in over a year. I stopped obsessing about my weight. Now there's just more of me to love. They say America's fatter than ever, but when you're number one, it's time to celebrate. And why not celebrate with cake every day? Celebrate cake.
Sexual realignment used to require expensive surgery, months of hormone treatments, years of therapy, and you still ended up looking like a drag queen. Now you can let the woman inside come out and...
Hey, what are you...
Realignment kit includes everything you need to go from Brad to Brenda in a jiff. It's just snip, chop, stuff, and swallow, and away you go. Do it in the bathroom and surprise your family with the new you. Comes with an instructional video, rusty knife and tourniquet, 2 aspirins, and 47 pounds of estrogen. It's all you need. When it's time for a change, you want it fast. Rapidite, the do-it-yourself sexual realignment kit. Be exactly who you want to be.
Up next on WCTR, it's the Man Coaches Hate. It's Derek Thackeray in the tight end zone. Brought to you by Eris Pump Up Shoes, because women love a winner, and winners wear shoes.
Welcome back to the tight end zone. Now it's time for something really important. Fat men talking about games they don't really understand, played by people they don't know. I'm your host, Derek Thackeray. What a crazy year it's been. Let's recap. Drug scandals involving preschool soccer moms. And the national finals, rich and popular people are fighting it out. Pay attention, the country is in mourning. And most importantly, sportswear. We talked to a fitness expert about the crucial role of endorsed clothing and...
There he is!
Is he going to make it? Yes, he did. Ladies and gentlemen, what you have just witnessed is the biggest moment in world history. Who cares about a Declaration of Independence or discovery of penicillin? You have just seen one man score a point. When the rest of the world discovers TV, they'll be able to see this. Wow, isn't that amazing? He did what he was paid to do.
We love sports more than you. Love it or loathe it, let's talk about it. Stay in tight and let's go to the phones.
Make sure.
Hey Derek, my name's Jason and I'm a Wolves fan. First time caller. I don't vote, I can't be bothered. But I will kick your ass.
I'm committed to working through this
my sports
institution.
team.
Another international body.
The Wolves team playing sports as if they cared.
Yeah, the Wolves!
Sure we
I don't
harness
care who's sleeping with who on the team.
Yeah, I'm with you, buddy. Okay. Hey, let's take another call. Who's on the phone? Hello, caller. You're on with the tight end of radio.
Hey, I'm a big Olympics fan. Always have been. Since day one. Been to every one.
It's going to take all of us to get this right. In every region of the world, the United States is mobilizing strong alliances, versatile.
Ang batang matibay, may tibay matuto sa buhay. Natututo ng tibay ng loob.
Pag matibay kasi ang pangarap mo, titibay din ang loob mo.
Natututo ng tibay ng paniniwala.
Kulang man sa material na bagay, mayaman naman sa tibay.
Natututo ng tibay para di sumuko.
Lagi raw mananalo, basta lumaban ng may puso.
Kasama ang Bear Brand. Ang anak mo ay may tibay matuto sa buhay. Siya'y isang batang matibay. Tibay ngayon, tulong para sa matibay na bukas. From Nestle.
Minsan, talo ko sa ibang choices. Buti pa sa Jollibee Mix and Match combos. Lahat panalo. Choose your own sulit sarap combo. Kahit ano pang piliin mo, masarap. Jollibee Mix and Match combos. 75 lang.
Hey, McDonald's is here. What is happening? Tastes so good. It'll make you dance.
Chicken's got to be McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Uy, pakbet!
Excited sa gulay? Kagagawan yan ng magic. Mas pinasarap ng Maggi Magic Sarap. All-in-one na, may iron pa. Bago yun na, kaya ang lutuin mas sumasarap. Bagong Maggi Magic Sarap.
Far in Syria is heartbreaking. Our shared goals must be the de-escalation of military conflict, along with a political solution that honors the will of the Syrian people. In this vein, we urge the United Nations-led peace process be reinvigorated. Rest assured, the United States will respond if chemical weapons are deployed by the Assad regime. I commend the people of Jordan and other neighboring countries for hosting refugees from this very brutal civil war. As we see in Jordan, the most compassionate policy is to place refugees as close to their homes as possible, to ease their eventual return to be part of the rebuilding process. This approach also stretches finite resources to help far more people, increasing the impact of every dollar spent.
Play Hearts on WCTR, West
Every
Coast Talk
solution
Radio. Or as
for
I
the
like to call it,
humanitarian
we can't
crisis
talk
in
right.
Syria
I love
must
you
also
all.
include
I'm
a
your
strategy.
host, Christy McIntyre. Let's go to the phones.
Hi, Chris, my wife. I love your show.
Aw, thanks. Do you want to tell us about it?
No.
Okay. Jenny on the line from Santa Maria. Hi, Jenny. How's your heart?
Broken, like my arm and two of my ribs.
What happened?
I married my childhood sweetheart, but it all went wrong. He's become a drunk, and he has a substance problem, too. And now he beats me every day.
Stay with him, honey. After all, you're only lonely when you're alone.
But he keeps threatening to kill me.
Jenny, do you know the meaning of the phrase homewrecker?
No.
What about selfish bitch? I want to bring people together, not break them apart. Who's on the phones? It's a big, lonely state out there.
Just while I'm married, I'm watching you right now in the shower.
Notice how many lonely hearts are lunatics? You wonder why, or perhaps not. Ryan from Las Venturas.
Hey, dude, my name's Bryant. I'm calling from Las Venturas. I want to talk about my heart.
Why do men just repeat back what you say and never listen? Are you brain dead, Brian?
Oh, actually, it's ironic that you say that. It's because my wife's been brain dead for years now.
Oh, so sorry. I seemed all insensitive for a second there, possibly ruining my career. Would it help if I slept with you?
Probably not, dude, though. She wouldn't even notice. I mean, I get away with it all the time now. Even after I get in with your sister. Actually, our relationship is better than ever. I mean, the passion is amazing. If she was happy to make you over
That's very informative. You know, last night I wondered what it would be like to be brain dead. Then I watched Medical Rifles. God, I can't live in that house. Remember, a heart can mend, but a divorce lasts forever. Unless he makes you later. Hello?
I was just calling up there when I was listening. I figured out, that I can help out some of y'all clients. This is none other than Jesse, the proprietor of the Pleasure Domes Club. If anybody is out there lonely, first of all, with all the people on this planet walking around, there's no reason for anybody to be lonely. You understand? That's why I'm in the business of keeping people with company. You know what I'm saying? People who got low self-esteem, they need to pick me up. They need to come down to the Pleasure Dome, hang out with me, Jizzy, and my girls, you know what I'm saying? They gonna keep you company, have you feeling good. And this goes for everybody. I don't care who you are, how old you are. So come on down and hang out with me if you're lonely. And I'm gonna tell you something. You won't be lonely from the moment you walk in the door, because somebody's gonna grab your hand, and it's gonna be all about to get down from them.
Good grief! That's not the way Lonely Hearts works at all! Is anyone here suffering? I want pain, misery, desolation, all the important things. I'm a stalker. Oh, that's beautiful. Tell everyone about it.
My man, well, I call him that, even though he's broken off all contact and married to someone else. I killed with his gal and sent his heart to him in an envelope. He liked it so much, told the police and even the newspapers. Then I burnt down his place of business, and now I have a special surprise for him.
Ah, you have a great week. Isn't that really beautiful? That's all we have time for. If your heart is lonely, listen to other losers and you won't be lonely anymore. You'll want to spend the rest of your life in isolation, away from people, which is progress after all. Until next time.
I hope you enjoyed Lonely Hearts. It's always fun to laugh at other people's misery, isn't it? Up next, it's Area 53 and Marvin Trill, broadcasting live from his trailer in the desert.
A new planet falls in space.
Ang batang matibay, may tibay matuto sa buhay. Natututo ng tibay ng loob.
Pag matibay kasi ang pangarap mo, titibay din ang loob mo.
Natututo ng tibay ng paniniwala.
Kulang man sa material na bagay, mayaman naman sa tibay.
Natututo ng tibay para di sumuko.
Lagi raw mananalo, basta lumaban ng may puso.
Kasama ang Bear Brand. Ang anak mo ay may tibay matuto sa buhay. Siya'y isang batang matibay. matibay ngayon, tulong para sa matibay na bukas. From Nestle.
Minsan, talo ko sa ibang choices. Buti pa sa Jollibee Mix and Match combos. Lahat panalo. Choose your own sulit sarap combo. Kahit ano pang piliin mo, masarap. Jollibee Mix and Match combos. 75 lang.
Hey, McDonald's is here. What is happening? Tastes so good. It'll make you dance.
Chicken's got to be McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Uy, pakbet!
Excited sa gulay? Kagagawan yan ng magic. Mas pinasarap ng Maggi Magic Sarap. All-in-one na, may iron pa. Bago yun na, kaya ang lutuin mas sumasarap. Bagong Maggi Magic Sarap.
How do you feel about that? Hello, Julie from Liberty City. You're on the line.
A cowboy ghost is haunting my house.
I need you to take off the clothes. Stand at the window. Stand there for hours each night. Move. Trapping rogue spirits is dangerous work, especially topless. Take lots of photographs. All right, who's got a theory for me? Next.
Hey man, love the show. But when are you guys gonna start seeing the bigger picture? We're being lied to, man. You guys like you don't help much, you know. You're virtually one of them. Soon you know what I'm talking about.
If people could please just attempt to make sense, that's all I'm asking. Last night, as I was laying in my pod meditating, and it occurred to me, why are you even listening to me? Turn off all electrical devices, including your radio. Hector and San Garcia, why are you still listening?
God, that's you too.
Now think about the things we talked about. Think, seriously think. Can it be real? Can it be false? We'll see you next time in Area 53. Be careful out there, wherever you are.
That was Area 53. We're sorry.
Tired of all the sunshine and good weather, looking for a real American vacation? Visit the shining jewel in the Rust Belt crown, Casa City. It's a real man's vacation. The pride of a nation is in Casa City. It's steel, ice, and poverty. Spend a romantic evening in the beauty of the nighttime river glow at the flaming river. Watch real men who make things lose their jobs and fight on our special Closing the Mill guided tour. Come see what we're really made of. This is real America. Drunk, proud, unemployed, and angry. Hear the eagle roar. In Casa City. This is what the Heartland is all about.
Have you heard the #1 gardening show in San Andreas? If not, here's what you're missing.
Well, why don't you just go buy your vegetables at the grocery store then, you sycophants? God, I don't understand.
You go to hell.
Well, screw you too, Mom. See if you're ever on the show again. Next call.
Yeah, what's that plant that blooms every 12 years? It is put high and smells like hell. I want to plant one on my ex-wife's lawn.
It's called amorphophallus titanium. God, I love to say that. Amorphophallus titanium. Sound of it makes me a redwood. If I come back as a superhero, I want to be called that. It's amorphophallus titanium, the rare botanical wonder. See his 8-foot protrusion as he pollinates on everyone.
Why does it feel so bad?
It's about marking your territory, man. You don't mark your territory. You should try it. Pee on the front door of your office. Just see if any...
辛辣天线
Then stay tuned for I Say You Say.
The future of America, threatened again. This time we mean it. I'm Dr. Phillips.
And I'm also Dr. Phillips. Today on the show, do cave paintings in museums make us violent?
The anti-beef movement. Both Hitler and Mussolini were vegetarian.
And we take on the highly charged debate about test tube babies and actually talk to one.
I have flashbacks. We go into hysterics in science class. Do you know what it's like growing up in a beaker?
That's all today on I Say You Say. We share last names, but that's about it. I'm Peyton, that's my wife Mary, and this is I Say, You Say, where left is right, and right is wrong.
Or where east meets west, and the west always wins. That wall came down, darling.
Yes, unfortunately it did. I don't know if you saw today's news, so who is in the right in this great dialectical disaster? Is it, as I think, a case of share and share alike? Love your fellow man and all wear matching jumpsuits while working on a hydroponic farm growing potatoes? Or kill or be killed, crush the weak, and starve the poor, as my wonderful wife. You decide, or let us decide for you. Give us a call and let my wife, a professor in social Darwinism, or me, a lecturer in pointless anthropology, comes out.
That's the problem with liberals. They don't know when to shut up and enjoy freedom. Let's go to the phones.
Yeah, here's the deal. I'm really funny. Nobody wants to hire somebody funny. I mean, how is that fair?
Are you related to my husband?
I don't think so.
I hope not. Have you got a question about politics?
Yeah, sure. I know a lot about politics. Hey, can I do your job? You know, I used to be on the radio back in the day.
Even my husband can't do his job. He's trained to protect the staff. Let's have a real caller, please.
Hi, my name is Michelle. I'm a first-time caller to the show. I wanted to know what you guys thought about the proposition to ban smoking.
Well, this is a simple issue. Smoking. Democracy at work again in our state. Seems like a good thing when you first look at it, but democracy only works when you agree with it. Then it's best to favor a totalitarian state. I'm not sure about this one.
I think smoking is an invasion of my body, and I've always wanted to shoot people. I'm right behind the proposition.
Me too. Thanks, Michelle.
I also wanted to say hi to my stepbrother, Phil, who's been undergoing a hair transplant today. Hey, Phil, if you're listening, I hope it sticks this time. I won't tell anyone you've got plugged, honey. I'm really proud of you.
That's great, honey. If you want shout-outs, call the rap station.
That's offensive, and I'm really offended by what you're saying. I'm a smoker. This used to be a free country.
When?
Ha! Good point, Doc. Gotcha. Yes, good point. But remember, our founding fathers grew tobacco, relaxed them between stressful stints of genocide and witch burning. And you're so against raising taxes, smokers pay more taxes than anyone. My grandfather smoked his whole life. He lived until he was 32. So what I'm saying is, why can't we encourage more smoking and use the money to pay for better health care and some cultural programs, bringing expressive dance and sun worship back to the inner cities?
Worrying about the inner city has ruined your academic career. And this woolly thinking is going to ruin your chances of getting anywhere with me today. The thing is, smoking is good because it lets people make a lot of money. But so is selectively culling the population. So what I'm proposing is a change in the proposition. Let people smoke, but make cigarettes much cheaper and force everyone to smoke. That way we weed out the weak, make a lot of money in tax, and keep our national heritage intact.
Line 2, you're on I Say, You Say.
I listen every time to your show. Really made me think about the world in a whole new way. I moved out of the city because it sucks. Now I live in a compound surrounded by barbed wire and shoot and kill anyone I don't recognize on my land. Just want to say thank you. That's some quality broadcasting.
Yeah, thanks. That makes me feel a lot better about myself. Have you got a question?
Yeah, I got corpses from 15 illegal immigrants in my yard. I killed them all myself with my bare hands. Can I get a tax break for all this unpaid work?
Good question. I would certainly hope so. Ask your accountant if you can register them as dependents. Then hide most of your net worth offshore in a complex money laundering system designed to support the drugs trade. Then you can pay virtually no taxes and complain about how awful you think the...
partnerships, common purpose, collective action, to bring new approaches to our shared challenges. Here in the Western Hemisphere, the United 21 Nations supported the Los Angeles Declaration on Migration and Protection, launching a region-wide approach to to a region-wide challenge to better uphold laws and protect the rights of migrants. In the Indo-Pacific, we've elevated our Quad partnership with India, Japan, and Australia to deliver concrete progress to the people of the region on everything from vaccines to maritime security. Just yesterday, after 2 consultations in diplomacy, the United States brought together dozens of nations across 4 continents to establish a new partnership for Atlantic cooperation so that the coastal Atlantic countries can better cooperate on science, technology, environmental protection, and sustainable economic development. We brought together nearly 100 countries in a global coalition to counter fentanyl and synthetic drugs to reduce the human cost of this affliction, and it is real. And as the nature of the terrorist threats evolve and the geography expands to new places, we're working with our partners to bring capabilities to bear to disrupt plotting, degrade networks, and protect all of our people. Additionally, we convene the Summit for Democracy to strengthen democratic institutions, root out corruption, and reject political violence. And in this moment where democratically elected governments have been toppled in quick succession in West and Central Africa, we're reminded that this work is as urgent and important as ever. We stand with the African Union and ECOWAS and other regional bodies to support constitutional rule. We will not retreat from the values that make us strong. We will defend democracy, our best tool to meet the challenges we face around the world. We're working to show how democracy can deliver,
and most importantly,
ways that matter to people's lives.
We talked to a fitness expert about
partnership with global infrastructure and investment addresses the enormous needs and opportunities for infrastructure investment in low and middle income countries, particularly in Africa, Latin America, and Southeast Asia. Through strategic, targeted public investments, we can unlock enormous amounts of private sector financing. The G7 has pledged to work with parties to collectively mobilize $600 billion in infrastructure financing by 2027. The United States has already mobilized more than $30 billion to date. We're creating a race to the top with projects that have high standards for workers, the environment, and intellectual property while avoiding the trap of unsustainable debt. We're focusing on economic corridors that will maximize the impact of our collective investment and deliver consequential results across multiple countries and multiple sectors. For example, the Libido corridor will extend across Africa from the western port of Angola to the DRC to Zambia, boosting regional connectivity and strengthening commerce and food security in Africa. Similarly, the groundbreaking effort we announced at the G20 to connect India to Europe through the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, and Israel will spur opportunities and investment across 2 continents. This is part of our effort to build a more sustainable, integrated Middle East. It demonstrates how Israel's greater normalization and economic connection with its neighbors is delivering positive and practical impacts, even as we continue to work tirelessly to support a just and lasting peace between the Israelis and Palestinians, 2 states for 2 people. Now, let me be clear. None of these partnerships are about containing any country. They're about a positive vision for our shared future. When it comes to China, I want to be clear and consistent. We seek to responsibly manage the competition between our countries so it does not tip into conflict. I've said we are for de-risking, not decoupling with China. We will push back on aggression and intimidation and defend the rules of the road, from freedom of navigation to overflight to level economic playing field that have helped safeguard security and prosperity for decades. But we also stand ready to work together with China on issues where progress hinges on our common efforts. Nowhere is that more critical than accelerating the climate crisis, than the accelerating climate crisis. We see it everywhere. record-breaking heat waves in the United States and China, wildfires ravaging North America and Southern Europe, a fifth year of drought in the Horn of Africa, tragic flooding in Libya. My heart goes out to the people of Libya that's killed thousands of people. Together, these snapshots tell an urgent story of what awaits us if we fail to reduce our dependence on fossil fuels and begin to climate-proof the world. For one day, my administration, the United States, has treated this crisis as an existential threat from the moment we took office, not only for us, but for all of humanity. Last year, I signed into law in the United States the largest investment ever anywhere in the history of the world to combat the climate crisis and help move the global economy toward a clean energy future. We're also working with the Congress to quadruple our climate financing, to help developing countries reach their climate goals and adapt to climate impacts. And this year, the world's on track to meet the climate finance pledge that made under the Paris Agreement, $100 billion to raise collectively. But we need more investment from public and private sector alike, especially in places that have contributed so little to global emissions, but face some of the worst effects of climate change, like the Pacific Islands. The United States is working directly with the Pacific Island Forum to help these nations adapt, build resilience to the climate impact, even as we lead the effort to build innovative new partnerships that attack the global challenges from all sides.
Ang batang matibay, may tibay matuto sa buhay. Natututo ng tibay ng loob.
Pag matibay kasi ang pangarap mo, titibay din ang loob mo.
Natututo ng tibay ng paniniwala.
Kulang man sa material na bagay, mayaman naman sa tibay.
Natututo ng tibay para di sumuko.
Lagi raw mananalo, basta lumaban ng may puso.
Kasama ang Bear Brand. Ang anak mo ay may tibay matuto sa buhay. Siya'y isang batang matibay. Tibay ngayon, tulong para sa matibay na bukas. From Nestle.
Minsan, talo ko sa ibang choices. Buti pa sa Jollibee Mix and Match combos. Lahat panalo. Choose your own sulit sarap combo. Kahit ano pang piliin mo, masarap. Jollibee Mix and Match combos. 75 lang.
Hey, McDonald's is here! What is happening? Tastes so good, it'll make you dance.
Chicken's got to be McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Uy, pakbet!
Excited sa gulay? Kagagawan yan ng magic. Mas pinasarap ng Maggi Magic Sarap. All-in-one na, may iron pa. Bago yun na, kaya ang lutuin mas sumasarap. Bagong Maggi Magic Sarap.
From the First Movers Coalition, which is mobilizing billions of private sector community and private sector commitments, creating a market demand for green products in carbon-intense sectors like concrete, shipping, aviation, and trucking. To the Agricultural Innovation Mission for Climate, which is bringing farmers into the climate solution and making our food supply more resilient climate shocks. And the global methane pledge, now endorsed by more than 150 countries, which expands our focus beyond our carbon emission target to reduce the potential
Ang Batang Matibay
in our atmosphere by 30% in this decade. It's all within our capacity. We need to bring the same commitment and urgency and ambition as we work together to meet the Sustainable Development Goals of 2030. These goals were adopted at the United Nations in 2015 as a roadmap for improving lives around the world. The hard truth is, for decades of progress, the world has lost ground these past years in the wake of COVID-19, conflicts, and other crises.
Let's be honest about things for a second. Really honest. You came out to the West Coast to get away from something. Everyone does. Let's face it, the Midwest is full of retards. That's why we've got the fastest growing population, a massive economy, and absolutely no history or culture. You used to be in Florida, but you moved here, and suddenly you're cold. San Andreas is a land where you can be who you want to be. Change your name. Come out, fly about your age, form your own religion, call yourself an actor at wait tables. It just doesn't matter out here. Everybody's at it until the awful moment old friends or family come to visit. Janice understands. Maybe it's time to change your identity. Don't let bad memories blow your cover. We'll teach you
we need to build new partnerships.
Alienate your family quick. Don't
change the way we tackle this.
Select from a list of weird religions that involve burning things, singing children's songs backwards, and loads of television worship. We'll select a member of another race or life form for you to claim as your soulmate, and your dietary habits will go Pacific too. People come to San Andreas to escape their past.
We need to ensure that women and girls
contact with friends and family fast.
Benefit fully.
It's time to invent the new you.
Let's also do more to grapple with.
Bend everyone.
I do. I love the games, especially the luge. I'm married, so sliding down in my seat tunnel of doom and high speed makes sense.
Yeah, I know about frigid action myself. I mean, they gotta be kidding me. Since when has running been an Olympic sport? Running ain't a sport. Don't make me puke. Anyone can run. My ex-wife made me an athlete. I ran my ass off when the Red Baron flew into town.
I tell you, when I was a kid, there were only 3 sports that mattered: football, baseball, and killing communists. And I had a great childhood, really great, even if my uncle did come into my room that late at night. Oh, that was... Anyway, look, who's on the line? You got a Caledonians fan on the line. Tough times, huh? Hey, your whole life revolving around rich men playing poorly.
Man, I totally identify with shallow heroes who I don't know personally. God, I love a dude with a big pituitary gland. I love the Callies, man, but you know, this year, I'm telling you, they're going to need to score some points and get some yardage and win the game.
Yeah, if they don't win, men will be beating their wives with good reason. Hey, they got to start playing to win, trying to score some on the other team. I wish I had a wife so she could beat me.
Here's what I say, man. If you want to be number one, you got to go for first place.
I know. Hey, I mean, you know, it's great stating the obvious, but once you get paid for it, things get really complicated.
Man, I was at their training camp this spring, and the mood in the locker room, dude, guys were getting changed, man. I mean, they were really getting prepared. Shoes were going on, feet, shirts were going on, the shirt part of their body, serious faces on them, and you could tell that they were going to play this game.
Bottom line is, if they don't score more points than the other team, you can't win.
Yeah, man. God, you have some spooky insight into sports. I love your show, man. I love you.
Yeah, look, great talking to you. Excuse me. Hey, that's really perceptive stuff. You know, we've been petitioning stadiums to install a urinal trough in front of each row of seats. Now, it's so inconvenient having to leave your seat, make everyone stand up, you know, to let you by, then go stand in line for the bathroom. I mean, half the time we can barely walk anyway, all right? So we'll be handing out petitions that say support the team. Don't leave the game, pee at your seat. Going to the phone.
I'm a big fight fan. Love a bit of a punch-up. Since my wife and children got taken into a shelter, my friend said, Chuck, you obviously love hitting things. So I've gotten into boxing. How about that fight between Gonzalez and Jesse?
Well, there's one thing about boxing I always remember. You know, one man wins, the other goes home a loser. Because in boxing, unlike most sports, gravity works downwards.
You gotta be shitting me.
Hey, Derek Thackeray, don't shit on no one. But I do It's on my seat and at my seat too. Not really on it, so stay out of the way.
The 5 game, that ain't real, is it?
Of course not. Hey, how could anything professional be fake? Hey, there's too much money at stake for one thing. I mean, these guys got too much to lose. I mean, why is a guy gonna take a dive for a few extra million when he could earn that over a number of years getting his brain turned to pulp? Be serious for a minute. The clock is counting.
And this is WCTR, proving that radio is better than TV. That's the show men with large guts love.
Talk is cheap, especially on this station, featuring more rich, angry people complaining. WCTR.
Up next, it's Area 53 and Marvin Trill, broadcasting live from his trailer in the desert.
The planet found in space, is it really a planet or a decoy put up to confuse us? Ghosts, time travel, and the flushing toilet. Which way did Newton's toilet spiral? And finally, are women...
Ang batang matibay, may tibay matuto sa buhay. Natututo ng tibay ng loob.
Pag matibay kasi ang pangarap mo, titibay din ang loob mo.
Natututo ng tibay ng paniniwala.
Kulang man sa material na bagay, mayaman naman sa tibay.
Natututo ng tibay para di sumuko.
Lagi raw mananalo, basta lumaban ng may puso.
Kasama ang Bear Brand. Ang anak mo ay may tibay matuto sa buhay. Siya'y isang batang matibay. Tibay ngayon, tulong para sa matibay na bukas. From Nestle.
Minsan, talo ko sa ibang choices. Buti pa sa Jollibee Mix and Match combos. Lahat panalo. Choose your own sulit sarap combo. Kahit ano pang piliin mo, masarap. Jollibee Mix and Match combos. 75 lang.
Hey, McDonald's is here! What is happening? Tastes so good, it'll make you dance.
Chicken's got to be McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Uy, pakbet!
Excited sa gulay? Kagagawan yan ng magic. Mas pinasarap ng Maggi Magic Sarap. All-in-one na, may iron pa. Bago yun na, kaya ang lutuin mas sumasarap. Bagong Maggi Magic Sarap.
Minsan, talo ko sa ibang choices. Buti pa sa Jollibee Mix and Match combos. Lahat panalo. Choose your own sulit sarap combo. Kahit ano pang piliin mo, masarap. Jollibee Mix and Match combos. 75 lang.
Hey, McDonald's is here! What is happening? Tastes so good, it'll make you dance.
Chicken's got to be McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Uy, pakbet!
Excited sa gulay? Kagagawan yan ng magic. Mas pinasarap ng Maggi Magic Sarap. All-in-one na, may iron pa. Bago yun na, kaya ang lutuin mas sumasarap. Bagong Maggi Magic Sarap.
Minsan, talo ko sa ibang choices. Buti pa sa Jollibee Mix and Match combos. Lahat panalo. Choose your own sulit sarap combo. Kahit ano pang piliin mo, masarap. Jollibee Mix and Match combos. 75 lang.
Hey, McDonald's is here! What is happening? dance.
Chicken's got to be McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Uy, pakbet!
Excited sa gulay? Kagagawan yan ng magic. Mas pinasarap ng Maggi Magic Sarap. All-in-one na, may iron pa.
Bago yun ah.
Kaya ang lutuin mas sumasarap. Bagong Maggi Magic Sarap.
Hello, caller. Hi, my name is Neymar. I'm really worried about hackers sending a nuclear bomb after me, through the phones. Do you think they can pinpoint my location?
Look, it's good for the economy to live in constant fear. I mean, the phone company, they have your name on the bill. They know your number. How do you feel about that?
I knew it.
Hello, Julie from Liberty City. You're on the line.
A cowboy ghost has been haunting my house.
I want you to take off your boots. Stand at the window, stand there for hours each night. Lure them in. Trapping rogue spirits is dangerous work, especially topless. Take lots of photographs. All right, who's got a theory for me? Next.
Hey man, love the show, but when are you guys gonna start seeing the bigger picture? We're being lied to, man. Guys like you don't help much, you're virtually one of them. Soon you know what I'm talking about.
If people could please just attend to make sense, that's all I'm asking. Last night, as I was laying in my car meditating, and it occurred to me, why are you even listening to me? Turn off all electrical devices, including your radio. Hector and San Garcia, why are you still listening?
Because I was hoping you could explain the noises.
What noises?
God, not you.
Watch where you
Now think about the things we talked about today. Think, seriously think. Can it be real? Can it be false? We'll see you next time in Area 53. Be careful out there, wherever you are.
That was Area 53. We're sorry.
If you crave news, WCTR, West Coast Talk Radio.
You're good, but let's be honest, you're not perfect. And that's not American. We strive to be number one in everything. Sports, politics, economics, homelessness, degeneracy. Los Santos is the home of beauty and glamour for the whole world. Live up to society's expectations.
That holds back so many low and middle income countries. When nations are forced to service unsustainable debt payments over the needs of their own people, it makes it harder for them to invest in their own future. And as we work together to recover from global shocks, the United States will also continue to be the largest single community donor, country donor of humanitarian assistance at this moment, unparalleled need in the world. Folks, cooperation, partnership. These are the keys to progress and the challenges that affect us all. And the baseline for responsible global leadership. We don't need to agree on everything to keep moving forward on issues like arms control, a cornerstone of international security. After more than 50 years of progress on the Non-Proliferation Treaty, Russia is shredding long-standing arms control agreements, including announcing the suspension of New START and withdrawing from the conventional forces of Europe. I view it as irresponsible and makes the entire world less safe. The United States can continue to pursue good faith efforts to reduce the threat of weapons and
Ang batang matibay, may tibay matuto sa buhay. Natututo ng tibay ng loob.
Pag matibay kasi ang pangarap mo, titibay din ang loob mo.
Natututo ng tibay ng paniniwala.
Kulang man sa material na bagay, mayaman naman sa tibay.
Natututo ng tibay para di sumuko.
Lagi raw mananalo, basta lumaban ng may puso.
Kasama ang Bear Brand. Ang anak mo ay may tibay matuto sa buhay. Siya'y isang batang matibay. Tibay ngayon, tulong para sa matibay na bukas. From Nestle.
Minsan, talo ko sa ibang choices. Buti pa sa Jollibee Mix and Match combos. Lahat panalo. Choose your own sulit sarap combo. Kahit ano pang piliin mo, masarap. Jollibee Mix and Match combos. 75 lang.
Hey, McDonald's is here. What is happening? Tastes so good, it'll make you dance.
Chicken's got to be McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Uy, pakdet!
Excited sa gulay? Kagagawan yan ng magic. Mas pinasarap ng Maggi Magic Sarap. All-in-one na, may iron pa. Bago yun na, kaya ang lutuin mas sumasarap. Bagong Maggi Magic Sarap.
Ang batang matibay, may tibay matuto sa buhay. Natututo ng tibay ng loob.
Pag matibay kasi ang pangarap mo, titibay din ang loob mo.
Natututo ng tibay ng paniniwala.
Kulang man sa material na bagay, mayaman naman sa tibay.
Natututo ng tibay para di sumuko.
Lagi raw mananalo, basta lumaban ng may puso.
Kasama ang Bear Brand. Ang anak mo ay may tibay matuto sa buhay. Siya'y isang batang matibay. Tibay ngayon, tulong para sa matibay na bukas. From Nestle.
Minsan, talo ko sa ibang choices. Buti pa sa Jollibee Mix and Match combos. Lahat panalo. Choose your own sulit sarap combo. Kahit ano pang piliin mo, masarap. Jollibee Mix and Match combos. 75 lang.
Hey, McDonald's is here. What is happening? Tastes so good, it'll make you dance.
Chicken's got to be McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Uy, pakdet!
Excited sa gulay? Kagagawan yan ng magic. Mas pinasarap ng Maggi Magic Sarap. All-in-one na, may iron pa. Bago yun na, kaya ang lutuin mas sumasarap. Bagong Maggi Magic Sarap.
Minsan, talo ko sa ibang choices. Buti pa sa Jollibee Mix and Match combos. Lahat panalo. Choose your own sulit sarap combo. Kahit ano pang piliin mo, masarap. Jollibee Mix and Match combos. 75 lang.
Hey, McDonald's is here. What is happening? Tastes so good, it'll make you dance.
Chicken's got to be McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Uy, pakdet!
Excited sa gulay? Kagagawan yan ng magic. Mas pinasarap ng Maggi Magic Sarap. All-in-one na, may iron pa. Bago yun na, kaya ang lutuin mas sumasarap. Bagong Maggi Magic Sarap.
Destruction and lead by example, no matter what else is happening in the world. This year, we safely destroyed at least the last chemical munitions to the U.S. stockpile, fulfilling our commitment toward a world free of chemical weapons. And we condemn the DPRK's continued violation of UN Security Council resolutions. But we are committed to diplomacy that will bring about the denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. We're working with our partners to address Iran's destabilizing activities that threaten regional and global security, and remain steadfast in our commitment that Iran must never acquire a nuclear weapon. Now, even as we evolve our institutions and drive creative new partnerships, let me be clear. Certain principles of our international system are sacrosanct. Sovereignty, territorial integrity, human rights. These are the core tenets of the UN Charter, the pillars for peaceful relations among nations, without which we cannot achieve any of our goals. That has not changed, and that must not change. Yet, for the second year in a row, this gathering, dedicated to peaceful resolution of conflicts, is darkened by the shadow of war. An illegal war of conquest brought without provocation by Russia against its neighbor Ukraine. Like every nation in the world, the United States wants this war to end. No nation wants this war to end more than Ukraine. And we strongly support Ukraine in its efforts to bring about a diplomatic resolution that delivers just and lasting peace. But Russia alone bears responsibility for this war. Russia alone has the power to end this war immediately. And it's Russia alone that stands in the way of peace, because Russia's price for peace is Ukraine's capitulation, Ukraine's territory, and Ukraine's children. Russia believes that the world will grow weary and allow it to brutalize Ukraine without consequence. But I ask you this: if we abandon the core principles of the United States to appease an aggressor, can any member state in this body feel confident that they are protected? If we allow Ukraine to be carved up, is the independence of any nation secure? I'd respectfully suggest the answer is no. We have to stand up to this naked aggression today and deter other would-be aggressors tomorrow. That's why the United States, together with our allies and partners around the world, will continue to stand with the brave people of Ukraine as they defend their sovereignty and territorial integrity and their freedom. Rights of every nation, no matter how big or small. Sovereignty, territorial integrity, they are the fixed foundation of this noble body. And universal human rights is North Star. We cannot sacrifice either. 75 years ago, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights captured a remarkable act of collective hope. I say that again, collective hope. Drafted by a committee representing different regions, faith, philosophy, and adopted by the entire General Assembly. The rights contained in the Declaration are elemental and enduring. And while we still struggle to uphold equal and inalienable rights, all, they remain ever steady and ever true. We cannot turn away from abuses, whether in Xinjiang, Tehran, Darfur, or anywhere else. We have to continue working to ensure that women and girls enjoy equal rights and equal participation in their society. That indigenous groups, racial, ethnic, religious minorities, people with disabilities do not have the potential stifle systemic discrimination. The LGBTQI plus people are not prosecuted or targeted with violence because of who they are. These rights are part of our shared humanity. When they're absent anywhere, their loss is felt everywhere. They are essential to the advancement of human progress.
Ang batang matibay, may tibay na buhay.
My fellow leaders, let me close with this. At this inflection point in history, we're going to be judged by by whether or not we live up to the promises we made to ourselves, to each other, to the most vulnerable, and all those who will inherit the world we create, because that's what we're doing. Will we find within ourselves the courage to do what must be done, to preserve the planet, to protect human dignity, to provide opportunity for people everywhere, and to defend the tenets of the United Nations? There's only one answer to that question. We must, and we will. The road ahead is long and difficult, but if we preserve, persevere, and prevail, if we keep the faith in ourselves, and show what's possible. Let's do this work together. Let's deliver progress together. Let's bend the arc of history for the good of the world. Because it's in our power to do it. Thank you for listening. You're kind.
Need to address the brutal since President Monroe that we reject the interference of foreign nations in this hemisphere and in our own affairs. The United States has recently strengthened our laws to better screen foreign investments in our country for national security threats. And we welcome cooperation with countries in this region and around the world that wish to do the same. You need to do it for your own protection. The United States is also working with partners in Latin America to confront threats to sovereignty from uncontrolled migration. Tolerance for human struggling and human smuggling and trafficking is not humane. It's a horrible thing that's going on at levels that nobody has ever seen before. It's very, very cruel. Illegal immigration funds, criminal networks, ruthless gangs, and the flow of deadly drugs. Illegal immigration exploits vulnerable populations, hurts hard-working citizens, and has produced a vicious cycle of crime, violence, and poverty. Only by upholding national law, destroying criminal gangs, can we break this cycle and establish a real foundation for prosperity. We recognize the right of every nation in this room to set its own immigration policy in accordance with its national interests, just as we ask other countries to respect our own right to do the same, which we are doing. That is one reason the United States will not participate in the new global compact on migration. Migration should not be governed by an international body unaccountable to our own citizens. Ultimately, the only long-term solution to the migration crisis is to help people build more hopeful futures in their home countries. Make their countries great again. Currently, we are witnessing a human tragedy, as an example, in Venezuela. More than 2 million people have fled the anguish inflicted by the socialist Maduro regime and its Cuban sponsors. Not long ago, Venezuela was one of the richest countries on earth. Today, socialism has bankrupted the oil-rich nation and driven its people into abject poverty. Virtually everywhere socialism or communism has been tried, it has produced suffering, corruption, and decay. Socialism's thirst for power leads to expansion, incursion, and oppression. All nations of the world should resist socialism and the misery that it brings to everyone. In that spirit,
Ang
we ask
batang
the
matibay,
nations gathered here
may
to join us in calling for the restoration of democracy in Venezuela. Today we are announcing additional sanctions against the repressive regime, targeting Maduro's inner circle and close advisors. We are grateful for all of the work the United Nations does around the world to help people build better lives for themselves and their families. The United States is the world's largest giver in the world by far of foreign aid. But few give anything to us. That is why we are taking a hard look at U.S. foreign assistance. That will be headed up by Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. We will examine what is working, what is not working, and whether the countries who receive our dollars and our protection also have our interests at heart. Moving forward, we are only going to give foreign aid to those who respect us and, frankly, are our friends. And we expect other countries to pay their